Hello, everybody, and welcome into this Friday night edition of Chapman Men's Lacrosse here at Ernie Chapman Stadium versus the Minnesota Gophers. I am your play-by-play commentator, Josh O'Feiners, along with my color commentator, Alejandro Flores. Alejandro, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. It's a Friday night, primetime matchup, and two teams who know each other very well. I mean, you have the Chapman Panthers who went into Minnesota last year. Made themselves pretty comfortable in their home.
Oh, they certainly did. They won by a whopping 24-2, a 22 positive goal differential for them there, as that was such an amazing game. And this is a new game, a new season for these two teams, and we're going to toss it down to the third member of our broadcast crew, our sideline reporter, Annie Gelfer. Annie?
Thank you, guys. I'm Annie Gelfer, and I'm going to be sideline reporter for this awesome game. It's going to be, as I said, awesome because of what you guys said. There's going to be a matchup between Chapman Panthers and Minnesota. Chapman actually beat them last year, which you guys mentioned, and I think that's going to be super exciting. Hopefully they can do that over again. We can see another Chapman win. Back to you guys today.
Thank you very much, Annie, for that. Annie is going to be covering everything down on the field and give her expert analysis from down there. But we have two teams to go over here today, the Panthers and the Gophers. We're going to go over how each of them can win this game.
Oh, yeah. Remember, we mentioned the Chapman Panthers went into Minnesota, handled them pretty well. But this is two completely different teams now. You have a Minnesota team who's been lighting up the league offensively. 72 total points, 23 assists. Now, points in lacrosse counts for both the scoring and the assists as well. So that's the total accumulation of the entire offense. Now, when you look at Chapman Panthers, where they have the advantage, it's on defense. Bollinger, the goalie, 37 saves. Their midfielders stifling on the inside, able to close in on attackers. So this is going to be really a game here of an immovable force versus an unstoppable force. And let's see who wins this battle.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a close battle there indeed. And if you are the Gophers, as you've been talking about for the Panthers sort of defense here, who are some players that are going to try to penetrate through that wall?
Yeah, well, for the Gophers, obviously, there's two key players that stand out to me like really high above the rest, and it's also because of how good Minnesota's defense is. So the first player that stands out to me the most is the attacker for Minnesota, number 9. Let's bring up his graphic right here. Here he is, number 9, Owen Carlson, attacker from Minnesota. So as an attacker, you can't cross the midfield. So his job, strictly offense. His goal is to get goals. And you know what? He gets them very damn well. 10 goals on the season, 3 points per game, 2 assists as well. So for someone who favors offense, specialty only, 10 goals on the year to start off, very impressive. Someone that the Panthers have to look out for and have to contain. Also someone else I want to look out for. Minnesota is their midfielder, number 33. Let's bring him up right now. Adam Millette, midfielder. So midfielders, they get to transition both to defense and offense, right? You get to play both sides. But Millette, you can tell, emphasizes his offensive game a lot more. 8 goals from a midfielder this early in the season, extremely impressive. What that does, though, is the Panthers now, it gives them another offensive player that they have to worry about. Someone else that they have to contain. It spaces out the field. So Millette is someone who's going to bring the attention. Not only is he going to be scoring, but he's also going to be just having a presence there on the field.
Oh, 100%. He's going to be someone that the Panthers are going to have to look out for in the attacking zone, as I will not be surprised at all if he's one of the 4 players that they're going to try to be in the attacking zone for most of this game. But the Panthers have some key players of their own that are going to make a huge impact on this one. And we're going to start off with number 12, attacker Grant Cavan, who's been a rising star for the Panthers this year. And on the season, he's got 6 goals, 6 ground balls, and he's averaging 3 points per game, leading the Panthers with 6 goals in 3 games, averaging 2 per game. And again, getting those 6 drum balls would help get more opportunities for their offense. And the second key player for today is someone who I love his game and his name, number 21, Josh Bowman, the midfielder. I love the name, as I said. He's making us Josh of the world very, very proud. 4 goals, 2 ground balls, and 1.6 points per game. And similar to Millette, like you mentioned, he's a bit more of an offensive-focused midfielder, but he's not scoring 8 goals so far like Millette. So Bowman's going to have more of a two-way impact on the field here for these Panthers.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing that stands out to me when you see the midfield position is those ground balls. And obviously you saw how many ground balls Josh was able to grab, and that's so huge. Working in transition, able to switch the game around. You catch a defense out of position. Your offense is able to move in transition. So that's going to play an impact. The midfielders are the center point of the game, not just because of the name, but because of their style of play and what they bring. So I wanted to know a little bit more about midfielders. So I had the opportunity to talk to Nico Orsino, he plays a two-sport athlete. He plays football, he plays lacrosse. He's a midfielder here for the Chapman Panthers. I had a chance to watch him practice, but not just watch him practice. I got to talk to him while he practiced. So here's that video right now.
1, 2, 3. Shut down.
You guys do different types of, and what specifically do you guys like to work on the midfield?
We do this footwork every day and pick up some ground balls, and then we'll do some triangle drill.
I actually think I have a fair idea of what the goal is this year for the team. It's championship this year. So what's been the mentality? How have you guys been attacking that every single day at practice?
Work hard, There's really not much else to it. It's just getting in extra work and just trying to hone our skills as much as we can.
And dude, I can tell you guys have a great team camaraderie. I remember talking to a couple lacrosse guys last year. You guys have celebrations on the sidelines, come up with bagpipes. What leads to that camaraderie, man? Do you guys do hang out after practice?
We hang out as much as we can. Building camaraderie in practice too, because the time we spend with each other is out. We also know when to have a little fun and build camaraderie, because it's important in a team sport.
All right, I want you to fill in the blank. At the end of the season, the Chapman's men's lacrosse team will be
national champs.
And it was just awesome. Just be able to talk with me, not even just during the interview, but before the interview, get to know him as a person, not just as a player. A great guy, selfless, scholar athlete. Puts people before himself. He's completely selfish, and that's exactly the embodiment of what this team is. It's team camaraderie, how they put others before themselves, and Nico is just a perfect example of that. Great person, has a great future ahead of him. It was awesome to be able to sit down and talk with him. So, as we look down onto the field, and, we're going to pull up a graphic very soon, we're going to look at the entire standings for this entire conference.
Yes, we will. And coming in first place right now, we have the Arizona Wildcats, who are 3-1 overall, 2-0 in conference. For the Panthers, 3-0 overall, 0-0 in conference. For that conference record, we'll stay the same after tonight, as Minnesota is in the UMLC, the Upper Midwestern Lacrosse Conference. And coming in third, we have San Diego State Aztecs, who are 5-0 on the season, 0-0 in conference. We have Arizona State, who's 3-1 on the year, 0-0 in conference. We have Grand Canyon University, who's 1-2 on the year, 0-0 in conference. And the last two teams, a little bit surprising considering their pedigrees. We have UCLA there in second to last with an 0-1 conference record and a 1-3 overall record. And USC so far winless on the season with an 0-1 conference record and an 0-5 overall record. So the Panthers here off to a strong start in non-conference play, which will boost their rankings in the overall MCLA national poll, because they are third overall in the country for the MCLA Division I rankings.
Yeah, and you mentioned big pedigrees like UCLA and USC, and yes, while there are big-time schools, and especially in other sports, the biggest competition for the Chapman Panthers in this whole entire conference is San Diego State. Last year, it was Chapman and San Diego State, neck and neck. They gave each other a run for their money. So that's exactly who the Panthers need to keep targeting, is at the top of the conference. Right now, they can't pay attention who's at the bottom. They know which team they are. They know exactly the type of guys that they are, and they know their goal. They know what they're pushing, not just for winning that conference, it's going beyond that. So that's exactly what the team needs to keep focusing on, needs to keep pushing through.
100%. And for the Gophers, they're in first place as well. They're into overall, as they're 3-0 in their conference, the Upper Midwestern Lacrosse Conference. And what do you think that means for them coming into this game?
Well, again, they're off to a fantastic start, offensively, right? And, they want to keep that momentum going. Gophers, they want to change the narrative that happened last year. And for them, the way they go really see it this year, it's a revenge tour. They can't. You came into our house last year, took our food, our plates, everything. They clean in Minnesota. So Minnesota, their mentality got to be going into Chapman right here in Wilson Field. You want to take it right back, give you the same feeling that we just had. So for the Chapman Panthers, it's understanding that the Gophers are going to come out fired up. They're going to come out and it's going to be personal. So the Panthers got to take it personal as well. This is a personal game on both sides. In the end, the Panthers got to come out and face the same exact intensity that Minnesota is going to come out in this game and start off early. If you're the Chapman Panthers, you want to force Minnesota to come from behind. As a high-power offensive team, if they catch the lead early, it could just start a game of runs. That's what Minnesota wants. If you're the Chapman Panthers, you want to force turnover, ground balls. You want to be able to switch in transition to defense and offense. And if you get a lead, you start to make Minnesota question themselves, second-guess their play, start to change their offensive schemes, and then get off of the that they got on early in the season.
Revenge can be sweet for the Gophers. Their defense has been a little bit questionable so far throughout this season. So what do you think are some things that they can do to try to be more of a force on the defensive end?
Well, for being on the defensive end, it's going to be how well defenders can close in and put pressure on. If you can force double teams, I feel like the midfielders at many points are able to bring that extra addition of pressure in on the defensive end. It's about how well you can put players in different situations where they have to throw the ball up. They lose control. So it's forcing ground ball, forcing turnover to get them all off of rhythm. It's to start really I always say this. I keep saying this, right? Midfielders, so important. But they really are because you know what? They play both sides. They're going in on defense and then they're coming in and they're running the offense. They're the only players on the field that can run for both sides of the field. So it's so important if they can be great two-way players. So that's going to be the thing for Minnesota, but also for Chapman. As we have the lineups and we see both sides lining up here on the field. It's going to be great to see these two teams match up. I love how they do this across with the two teams lining up, facing across each other. So, I feel like this is a perfect opportunity where we could go over starting lineups. So for the starting lineups, I have to talk about for the attackers. People need to talk for Minnesota. 26, Jonas Bukowski. All right, that's the first attacker that we have to mention. Bukowski, 5'11", 215. He's a senior from Minnesota. Also someone to look at for George Van Petersum, freshman attacker, 5'9", 170. Then we also have number 32 on the offensive side, Ethan Nuss, a freshman as well. When we go to the midfield position, and this is where it starts to vary a lot with Minnesota. Some of the first midfielders that I think of when I see this is obviously number 2, Max, who's listed right there, Max Brewing. He's a great midfielder player. He's a great force as we get started with the game.
At the face-off, the Panthers are able to win this one here as we will have Anderson controlling it. As the Panthers look to control this one here.
Yeah. We have sub-ins here, but I want to talk about the rest of the starters from Minnesota. Adam Millett, who I already mentioned. And, then you go to the defensive side. And this is the big point for Minnesota, is trying to close down the defensive side. Hunter Berger here. Great name, by the way. I love it. Nicholas Hofstad. And also rounding out the defense is Jonah Conrad. And then that's like the biggest thing right there for Minnesota is how well they can be on the defensive end. And then you got Rostad, who's rounding that lineup out from the goalie position.
Yeah, he is. As we
have the lights
going out here. Is Worth is controlling it.
Here we go. Okay.
And it looks like we may have a stoppage.
I don't know, but I'm getting flashbacks here a little bit. Man, remember the Super Bowl 49ers Ravens and the power went out?
I do.
The players who are already hyped up, ready to go for the game, and then all kind of stretches. Just what happened right there.
Yeah.
And what an interesting situation for the players. You just got the game going. You started to warm up. The situation sorted. And now we have an indefinite stoppage time because of the lights going out. So, very interesting. It's going to change up how the players do. What the biggest thing right now that they can do is just stay warm, keep stretching. I really can't see the ball right now because the whole entire power is out.
Right.
It's outside. It's a 7 p.m. game. So right now, just relying tossing the ball around. If I'm the crowd right now, bring out the microphone, start flashing them around, start getting some light going.
Yeah, let's start a little chant going. Why not? Again, as you said, for the players, it's so important to try and stay warm out there on the field. Keep stretching, keep talking game plan with Coach Callis. Also, important for most of the coaches. Yeah. You got to figure out the problem, too, because you want to make sure you give honest information to your players as in a potential start time.
Yeah, hopefully they can find the right people who run the whole entire electricity for the building. I wouldn't know. I'm just a student. But the biggest thing is I love the music that they're playing. That's the first thing. Have fun with this a little bit.
100%. You have to. You have to.
You just got to laugh at this. Who expects something like this to even happen? It's completely out of the blue. It's so funny right now, looking outside in the field and seeing the flashlights starting to play off right now, and just how the players are handling it. But this is, man, isn't it interesting? You're getting hyped up. I just talked about how this is the game. It's personal between these two teams. They're ready to go. Let's get this game started. Boom.
Even the lights are angry. Let's just put it that way. Even the lights are angry with what
definitely a way to put it. Or
what happened.
Maybe it was a little bit too much for the lights to handle, as you could put it. But what a funny, interesting situation that we're in right now. To keep talking about further about these two teams. Josh, do you have anything else inside that you feel like, especially for Chapman's offensive side, that you feel like want to see them turn up in this game?
I think the main thing is just trying to move with a fast pace, because I'm thinking about how the Gophers can score, and it's going to be at a faster pace with all of the different players that can go in and out of that attacking zone as long as they have 4 players in there. I wouldn't be shocked if Minnesota's ready to use some fakes, to have people fake in, not go fully in, and then you have maybe a midfielder like Millette just run in at the last second. And again, defensively, they have to be on it. And they've been on it all year. Obviously, with Bollinger, he won the Pro Goalie of the Week award last week, so he's definitely not going to be an easy target to score on for the Gophers.
And that's not his first Goalie of the Week that he won. He won a Goalie of the Week as well back last year as well. Multiple Goalies of the Week. But, actually, here we go. We're going to have a bit of an interesting situation. We have Annie on the sidelines in the dark. Annie, what do you got for us?
So as you guys can tell, the lights are off. They're playing a song about the lights being off. When the lights went off, all the players were obviously upset. They were all ready to go. But I have received word that it's because it was on the schedule for the practice time, so the lights turned off right before the game started because they forgot to reset the timing for the game for the lights to be on. So we're just out here in the dark waiting for them to turn the lights back on and get it back on schedule. This sucks for the players because they were all amped up. We were amped up here, but we'll just have to see where this goes. Everybody in the crowd's waving their lights. Oh, they changed the song. They're just playing all the songs they can about the lights turning off. Back to you up in the booth. Not much to add down here. It's just dark.
Thank you very much, Annie, for that analysis. As again, as she said, with the songs playing, have fun with it. Yeah. Just enjoy it for the fans. The fans aren't going to leave here anytime soon. It's only been a couple minutes, so nothing too concerning here just yet. But if you're a visiting team like the Gophers, what does this do for your psyche? Because you're already halfway across the country on the road here in California. And then to have this happen for your revenge game, how can they come out of this?
Well, if I'm the Gophers, I'm using this as motivation. What do you mean? We come over here, travel to California, and you're not even going to treat your guests with proper respect? Not going to turn the lights on when we walk in? Come on, man. So that's exactly, if I'm the Gophers, you find anything right now to use as motivation. Anything you can, be like, hey, they're disrespecting us. Let's turn it up a notch. That's exactly what the Gophers got to do right now. Again, it's personal. This whole thing's personal. Take everything personally if you're the Gophers. You're trying to play it, kick it up a notch. For the Power, though, come on, guys. We know it's not practice time. We got a game to go. Come on. Jerry, Bryce. I know it's not your fault. I just like calling you out. I love you, Jerry. But,
we're calling Jerry Price on live right now. We're calling him out.
I love you, Jerry. I know it ain't your fault. You look out for us, the students. You're the man. Just want to give him a shout out. But it just, this is such a fun situation right now. It kind of really is. Just got to enjoy it. I've actually have to say a couple times I have guilty. I've snuck out here, got a couple runs in when it's late at night because, I want to get some runs on in the track. So, this is something, I'm used to.
Hey, you got to get the late night running. You got to get the late night running, the late night workout in sometimes. Sometimes the days are really packed, and it could be a good way to end your day. So based off of your experience on this field with the lights off, as potentially we may not get full lights. I don't know exactly what the rules are there, but if we only have 3/4 of the lights working, let's say, how can that affect the game?
Well, I mean, you already saw the second the lights turned off on the right half of the field, the game still stopped. And then all of a sudden the full lights went out. I mean, you really want the entire lights on for the game. You can't have one side off and the other side on. That creates a disadvantage. And no matter how you put it, it's a disadvantage on the left side compared to the right side. It means most of the plays probably going to be played factored onto the right side compared to the left because you can't see as well. So here's the thing. There's no situation, I don't think, where it's you play with the full, like half the lights on and half off type of situation. You need the full lights on. You need the full lights for the game. So it's just, coaches and, whoever, the connections are calling the right people to try to set up the lights here on the field. But in any situation, we have to talk about there's two coaches in this game that, really catch our eye. So, let's take this advantage of stoppage of time to talk about the two coaches that we have in this game, Josh.
Yeah, we have some amazing coaches here in this game. Coach Joel Callis for the Panthers in his second season with a 20-4 overall record. He has an 8-1 overall conference record here. In just 2 years, he's really turned the Panthers back into that national title contending team. And over to the Gopher side, we have Peter Gozen, who is 31-11 overall and 27-3 in conference. So both of these coaches know how to win in their conferences, and he's in his fourth year for this Gophers coaching staff, and they've improved every single year, and they can believe that this is the year that something big may happen for their program. And both of these coaches trying their best to keep their players, focused through this, because this is an event that rarely ever happens in terms of sports, especially here. This is the first time I've seen this happen here on campus.
I was about to say, I'd say this is probably the first time I think this has happened on campus for Chapman itself. Man, I don't know. This is the third time I've witnessed this in person. I've witnessed it one time as well with the Niners and the Pittsburgh Steelers back when I was going to Candlestick, and the Candlestick lights went out in San Francisco when the Niners were playing the Steelers. Power went out, but the beautiful thing was there was a lot of people in the stadium, so everyone was flashing their lights. It was still like the lights were still on. Here, though, it's not as big of a crowd, so it's still pretty dark out there. But one thing I have to say, too, is, you kind of saw in the background, I like the lighting. Keck building looks very nice. The lights are shining. You get a nice look at AF as well. One thing I have to say, the lights may not be shining, but the campus itself, still pretty beautiful. Look at that right there.
Look at that lighting. Just look at that beautiful picturesque, if you will, that light right there in the night sky. And we're literally in the calm before the storm as we're expecting a rain game here tomorrow for the women's game.
Look at this. The cinematographer in me right now is going crazy. I love that shot. Parallel, perfect, lights on. It looks beautiful. That one.
Yeah, this one the lights aren't necessarily fully on.
Switch cameras. It's just kidding. But look at, man, it's a lovely campus. What an interesting situation we have going on.
It is. It's very interesting. Last year we had the rain delay football game in 2022 where we had to take a very long break. So hopefully this ends here pretty soon for everybody, as these players just want to play a game, a good old-fashioned game of lacrosse, and we have a little airplane in the sky.
That's a good shot.
We have the Anderson Athletics Complex that is right near us here at
That's a great shot. As the film nerd in me, that shot that we just saw right there, it was perfect. It was off a little bit to the right. You got the clouds kind of going over the building. It was a great look. Hold on, I'm trying to hear from the announcer right now. Oh, okay, he's just taking DJ requests right now, which is kind of nice. I wish I could put my own little request in for music.
If you have any DJ requests and you're at the stadium, hey, make sure to tell them, we can get the music right here for this occasion. Look at that statue as well.
That's a great shot.
Look at that. An amazing statue there outside.
We're just basically becoming a film class right now.
We are.
We're just filming everything right now. We're filming the whole entire school.
Major, we have to take everything as we are going to take a little bit of a break here as this delay gets settled, and we will be back with you here on the CSBN Live YouTube channel once this is over. We thank you all for tuning in, and please tune in when we're back.
bensound.com. bensound.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our broadcast as we are dealing with the slight delay here, but we appreciate you for keeping with us, for still tuning in as we're still waiting for the light to come back as we just had Here Comes the Sun.
Yeah.
I see one light. We are getting back here shortly.
I see 3. I see 4. I think the lights are starting to get back on. I think the players are also taking the field as well.
Yeah, the players are.
This game is starting. So they're gonna play with whatever lights they got going.
As it looks a little brighter than it did before out there on the field. Definitely good to see. For the Panthers, Kevin passing it back out.
Gotta call
2 more set. We have the penalty there. And this type of delay can cause for the start of the game.
I mentioned before, it makes things get cold, gets off rhythm. It's very important that Chapman and for Minnesota both, you hope that both sides were continuing to move around, keep running. You don't want to get tight. You don't want to let this delay at any point turn down the intensity that you're coming out with.
More set. Back to Kevin. Out there to Voman. Voman with the shot, and that is going to be off target there.
Now remember,
as more seconds going to pick this one up.
Well, it's seconds on the shot clock, so the Panthers got to get a quick play going. And a smart play, he decides to back. That's a smart play. But remember, when it goes out of bounds, the reason why that out of bounds went right back to Chapman is it's the closest player to be out of bounds that actually gets the possession, not so much who just touched it last.